We're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Ambrosia Martin. I am one of the counselors at Cheltenham High School and the department chair of the counseling department. Assisting me is Mr. Mark Hoff, who is one of our vice principals. And today we're just going to give you some information, some general information about our dual enrollment process, explain some changes, and again, give you an opportunity to ask questions. So we're going to talk about the benefits, like why do we want to choose dual enrollment? We're going to talk about specific schools that we work with and have agreements with, and how to access information about their programs. All right. So what is dual enrollment? Dual enrollment is a process where you can take college courses while you are a student in high school. So the student will get credit for both college and high school simultaneously. So essentially what they can do is attend courses at one of the schools that we participate with, whether that is going to be through an online virtual option, an asynchronous option, attending in person on campus, or even during the summer. It is a typical college course, so the student will be in courses with other students who have graduated high school and are currently attending college. So because of that, we do understand the level of rigor that it takes. We understand the amount of time that needs to be put into it. So we do weight that with the GPA as that's alongside an AP level course. And we'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. So if you want to talk about dual enrollment, we need to know why. Why are we choosing dual enrollment? What would be the benefit of doing it besides taking college courses and getting that weighted GPA? Well, the first thing is that you save money. A college course can cost anywhere from $500 to thousands of dollars, depending on where your student would prefer to go to college. We have articulation agreements with students that allow us to allow the schools to charge less than what they would charge a typical student. So it can range anywhere from $200 to $600 per course. And while you're doing that, again, you're getting college credit, so you're also saving time. So some students of ours who have been participating with dual enrollment sometimes enter into their freshman year of college already having a semester completed, or took some of the courses that they felt like would be a little bit more challenging, where they may not have the amount of supervision or time to complete at the college level course, college level experience. So they would do it now while they have that support system in place while they're at school at the high school. But it also just allows you to experience the rigor of college, get prepared for college, because, as we all know, college looks very different from high school. So it gives you an opportunity to see what that experience would look like. It gives you an opportunity to explore a career that you're thinking about. And you may actually check off and say, yes, this is a career that's for me. I enjoy this course. I am doing well in it. And I want to continue with it. Or you might actually have the opposite experience and say, well, you know what? I'm glad I didn't, go into this major and choose a major that is aligned with this course, because I'm actually not enjoying it. You could still get the credit for it, use it as an elective for whatever program you get yourself into when you go to college. But you are allowing yourself the opportunity to cross that off, to say, nope, this is not something I want to do. But nonetheless, as I mentioned earlier, it gives you an opportunity to experience the rigor. So it helps with that transition of going into the next phase of life, which is that post-secondary phase of life. So it just helps ease that transition. As I already mentioned, it does save on future college costs. I don't know about everyone here, but I wish I would have had that opportunity when I was in high school, because the amount of student loans was a lot, so the opportunity to save, on, again, anywhere from one course to even you can finish by the time you graduate high school. Sometimes students finish a whole semester or year of college, so you're saving in that aspect. But you also kind of get an idea of what college life looks like, right? So you get to experience all of the things that are on campus. You get to meet students that you may be in courses with as you become a college student. So you're getting an idea of what that would look like, and what's more for you within your interest. Most of the college credits that you earn through dual enrollment are transferable to other colleges. So even if you take say for example, a course at Montgomery County Community College, but you don't intend to apply to Montgomery County Community College, you intend to say apply to Temple. Most of the time, though, that credit is transferable to the school that you're going to apply to. But as I mentioned earlier, that I said I was going to get back to, is that it does help with your high school transcript. So if you were to take a course for dual enrollment, that course is going to show up on your high school transcript, and it's going to show up as a dual enrollment course for whatever school that you attend. So it looks good. It helps your transcript be attractive. And as I mentioned, you get AP level courses. So there are different levels, AP level weight. So there are different level of courses. You have the grade level course, which is an A would be 4 points on a 4.0 scale. We have honors courses, which are 5 points on a 4.0 scale. But then we have AP courses, which are 6 points on a 4.0 scale. So essentially what that means is that a C in an AP or dual enrollment course is equivalent to an A on a grade level course. So we do separate weighted from non-weighted GPAs on your transcript, but many schools look at weighted GPAs when they're considering acceptance. So it would look good to have that dual enrollment GPA, weighted GPA on your transcript as well. So dual enrollment is open to any rising sophomore, junior, or senior. So that's why, it's important as a freshman to be on this call, or a freshman parent, because this is something that your student, or you, if you are the student, may be able to take advantage of next year. You do have to have a counselor recommendation or permission, because we want to make sure that if you're signing up for a dual enrollment course, that you're setting yourself up for success. So we may sometimes say, well, let's, have a conversation about what this looks like. Let's, make sure you know what you're getting yourself into. We work with the colleges that you are thinking about attending for the dual enrollment, and we all come together to make a team decision about whether or not this is good for you right now, or something that we should explore as you get further into your high school career. You do also have to be, that's fine, you can move to the next slide. You do also have to be in good standing with your high school credits, because of course that takes precedence. You have to make sure that you're passing the current classes that you're in, and you're earning the credits that are necessary for Cheltenham School District. Now, there are some changes that we want to make sure that we mention, because some of you may have been a part of our conversations from previous years, and you may recognize that we're now saying sophomores have the opportunity to participate. In the past, it was only open to juniors and seniors. So we are able to now allow sophomores to participate. There are some schools that have their own requirement of juniors and seniors, but Cheltenham does not have that limitation. So if you are a sophomore or a rising sophomore and you're thinking about doing dual enrollment either this summer or next school year, I still encourage you to just meet with your counselor, or research some of the schools to see if it's something that you can participate in. We also removed the GPA requirement. We required you to have a 3.0 GPA in order to participate in the dual enrollment process. However, just taking a holistic approach to determining if a student would be fit for a dual enrollment course, we recognize that that GPA requirement isn't always a necessity. So that is something that we removed. Again, some schools do have that requirement themselves, but Cheltenham School District does not have that requirement. The other thing that we changed is we actually added a school. So coming this year, we will be working with Commonwealth University of Pennsylvania. And so we're excited to start that partnership with them, and more information about that will be coming soon. So right now, we're keeping our partnership with Arcadia University. They offer in-person classes as well as asynchronous courses. Now, the thing with Arcadia is the proximity. So if a student doesn't have their own transportation, so I've had students who actually walk to Arcadia to take their courses because they are very close. Montgomery County Community College is a school that most students take asynchronous courses, but again, you could take in-person courses with them as well. But due to the distance, oftentimes asynchronous does seem to sometimes be the more appropriate option, but it is not the only option. Penn State Abington campus is also another school that is working with us and has worked with us over the years. And as I just mentioned, Commonwealth University of Pennsylvania is new to us, and we are hoping to form some more partnerships as we work throughout the school year. So hopefully there are going to be more to come. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Arcadia, what their process looks like, and what their requirements are. So, well, Dr. Chow is our connection person there, so you can feel free to write down her phone number and email if you are interested in connecting with her. However, again, your student's counselor or myself can assist as well. So this is just if you have any additional information, but she is a program manager and academic advisor and will be the person primarily in contact with you if you choose an Arcadia course. And her biggest thing that she likes to talk about is, when you make the decision of whether or not you're going to choose a dual enrollment course, think about whether or not you have time. What else do you have going on in your life? Do you have a rigorous, course load already at the high school that dual enrollment may make it a little bit more challenging to manage? Do you have a job? Do you have extracurricular activities and sports that you're involved in? What would that look like if you have, a sport that intersects between the fall and the spring semester, and yet you choose a fall course or a spring course? Do you have transportation? I do recognize that Arcadia is right around the corner and you could walk, but is it ideal to walk when it's snowing? So thinking about those things as well. And more importantly, are you motivated? Again, this is a college level course. So the student who is participating in the dual enrollment program at Arcadia will be in classes with other Arcadia students. And so you do have to have the same level of input into the course as the Arcadia students are having. And are you able to do that? Are you motivated to do that? So those are some things to think about as we go through this presentation. So for their fall semester that was this year, it's usually around, enrollment is usually around August to December. So I want you to just think about that because December is usually when the semester starts. And so, but August is when you're able to start enrolling in it. So you can know before the end of the summer whether or not you are enrolled in a course, what that will, what time that course will be. And that will be helpful, especially when the fall semester starts at Cheltenham, because then if we need to make some adjustments to your students' schedule of what's in the building, we can do that because we'll have more than enough time to do that, over the summer. So, but the courses do start August 25th and usually, and will be ending December 16th. Again, I think I might have misspoke a little bit, but the application, you can actually start applying in April. So you can submit the application in April. You should know sometime by the beginning of the summer, and then have that information done before ready for your school counselor to use when they go to review schedules for the fall. Now, Arcadia is allowing 10th, 11th, and 12th graders, but they do have the minimum GPA of a 3.0. Again, that can be reviewed or discussed. So we don't want to hold to a strict 3.0, but if your student is close, they do give the option of having a discussion and doing a full transcript review. Arcadia, like most of the other schools, do require your courses to be at a 100 or 200 level course, because those are more of like the beginner level courses. It's enough to, to typically you are meeting the prerequisites for those courses at 100 and 200 level. As you get to the higher level courses, those are usually for like third and fourth year college students. And so typically we don't have those prerequisites met. So right now, Arcadia's tuition is about $480 for a 3-credit course and $640 for a 4-credit course. And that is subject to change. I did see the question, are there summer courses? Yes, there are. They do offer summer courses. And I believe, and don't quote me on it, but I do believe that the enrollment for summer courses starts in March. So you can actually start looking through their catalog now to see what courses you want to enroll in and actually get the process started. Arcadia requires a school recommendation. So either by the principal or the counselor, which is typically the counselor, and they do ask us for that information. That's something that we handle with them directly. You don't really need to be a part of that process, but that's just an FYI. Your parents do need to be in agreement with it, so they do have to sign off. There is a form for parents to endorse the process that needs to be completed in order for them to even review the application. The good thing about Arcadia is that they give access to all of their resources that they would give a college student. So you have access to their athletic center, you have access to their library, their writing center, their tutoring. You would essentially be considered a student there, even though you are a high school student. So now we're going to talk about Montgomery County Community College. Is very similar to Arcadia, but more specifically to Montco. We'll talk a little bit about what their requirements look like. Now, their courses are different in cost. Right now, they are $209 per course for a 3-credit course. Again, that is always subject to change, but that is what they are currently costing. You can do a fall, spring, or summer semester. You can do night classes. You can do asynchronous, or synchronous, where synchronous is just basically virtual, but at a specific time. Most of the classes are at the Bluebell campus. So if you are thinking about an in-person course, that is about 20 minutes from campus. And so sometimes it's better to think about choosing a class that may align with towards the end of the day, just so you can have some time to travel if you're thinking about doing an in-person course. So Montco allows a student to take any course. They don't really have any type of restrictions. They do also still look for 100 and 200 level courses, primarily because, again, as I mentioned with Arcadia, there are prerequisites that need to be met. However, that's not always the case. So if you or your student is thinking about a course and you may think like, oh, well, that might be a little bit, that might not be accepted because it's an intense course, don't hesitate on that. Just reach out to the counselor or reach out to Montco themselves, and we will again do a transcript review to see what if that course is possible or not. They also have unique opportunities where you have access to their technology programs. You have access to their hospitality institute. They also have certificate and degree track programs, so you can use your dual enrollment courses towards those programs. Montco also has mental health support services. So if you feel like your student is, maybe struggling through this process of taking college level courses, in addition to the support that Cheltenham High School can give, Montco can also provide some supports as well. And the students can have access to student clubs and activities as well. They, again, will treat your student like you are a Montco student, so you have full access to all of the opportunities and supports that a full-time Montco student would have. Montco has a program which is called the Transfer Pathways Program. And essentially, whether you're a dual enrollment student or a student who is attending Montco for post-secondary options, what they do is they have a program where you can do about 2 years with them, and then you transfer to any of these schools that they have the agreement with. I believe it's like 23 of them, from Chestnut Hill to Temple to Drexel to Widener, Westchester. And so you finish your other 2 years there with them. you can use your dual enrollment classes towards that transfer program. Now, of course, you do have to have a GPA that allows that. So you have to pass your courses at Montco. You have to, show that you're able and ready to transfer to a 4-year school. However, it is a great way to get a head start into the Transfer Pathways program by taking some of the dual enrollment courses and then transferring them over to one of the schools. So for example, I've had a student who did dual enrollment they completed like a semester's worth, but they were planning to go to Montco after high school and transfer over, but they were concerned about their age of where they were transferring over to. Westchester was a school that they were thinking of, but one of the things that helped them was that they were shortening the amount of time that they needed to wait to transfer over to Westchester because they had gotten a lot of those courses out of the way through the dual enrollment process. So it was a great way to save money for them. And you can feel free to write down the email address, dualenrollment@mc3.edu. If you have any questions, they are really quick with responding to emails. But again, you can check in with your student's counselor if you have any questions as well. And then now we're talking about Penn State Abington. Penn State's dual enrollment at Penn State Abington is open to sophomores, juniors, and seniors. Their courses are typically in person, and they do have specific courses that you can take. Their courses are Monday through Friday. And again, as I mentioned, with Montco and Arcadia, you are attending with other Penn State students. And as Montco and Arcadia, you have access to all of their facilities and parking and everything that a full-time student would have access to. These are the courses that you can take at Penn State. You can take biology, intro to criminal justice, rhetoric and composition, English, techniques of calculus, introductory psychology, elementary statistics. They do have some other courses. So if you look at their catalog and you're saying you're interested in another course that isn't listed, they will do a full review to let you know whether or not that is a course that you could take through dual enrollment, or if you would need to be a full-time student in order to participate in that course. So if you want to apply, you can complete the non-degree high school enrollment form, which is located on their website. You do need to submit a copy of your high school transcript, which is the case for all 3 of the schools. That is how we take that holistic review. Part of that is by checking what courses you've taken, what your GPA is, and use it as a guide to recommend certain courses. They also require a letter of recommendation, and their courses are about $912 per course. But if you know Penn State, that is actually a great cost compared to what a full-time student will be paying. So here's just some general information. You will need to submit a transcript, as I mentioned. And so then we use that transcript and then get as part of the application process. And then when you're finished with the course, they send the transcript over to us as to what your final grade was. And we put that into your transcript. So for example, you'll see your transcript, your Cheltenham High School transcript that shows your 9th grade separated by your 10th grade. And then maybe in 10th grade, you took classes at Montgomery County Community College. So it will say on the transcript, Montgomery County Community College, Biology 101, A as the final grade. And it will count as a 1-credit course for us, but it will be 3 credits unless there is a lab, which could be 4 credits at Montgomery County Community College. So I do want to explain that difference because our courses are 1-credit courses, and it will be equivalent to a 1-credit course. I know this question was asked in the chat, but you can start in the summer or you could wait until the fall. And if you schedule a course during the day, please make sure that it fits in your schedule. Oftentimes, courses are offered at odd times, which sometimes overlaps in between several of our periods or blocks. And sometimes that doesn't work with the student schedule. So we do need to make sure that it's something that we can fit in and something that will work for everyone. If the course is in the evenings, then you have nothing to worry about. Or if it's after school, again, you have nothing to worry about. You can enroll in it after getting permission from your counselor. We do here at Cheltenham High School have to also be a part of the approval process. So once you submit your application to whatever school you choose and you get a copy of the course description, that would need to be sent to the student's counselor, and then the counselor would then be able to approve whether or not that's a course that aligns with the trajectory of where the student is going within our course schedule. So here's some general information, some general FAQs, and then after that, if we have any additional questions, we'll be able to open up the floor for that. But one general question that we often get is, will dual enrollment affect my high school graduation? No, it doesn't. It actually helps, right? So it counts towards high school graduation as well as college credits. So it's a benefit by doing that. Are dual enrollment credits transferable? Yes, most credits are transferable to other colleges and universities. We cannot guarantee which schools will take them, but typically they are transferable. Do I need to pay for the courses taken? Each school has their own fee that we discussed earlier in the presentation. However, if you take a course at Montgomery County Community College, the Cheltenham School District will reimburse one course taken each year for a passing grade of C or higher. So if you take a course in the fall and you earn a C in the course or a B or an A, then you would submit for reimbursement, and then that course is essentially free for you. Will the dual enrollment course interfere with high school courses? We do need to make sure that the course can be accommodated with the student's schedule. So sometimes we do have to, make adjustments in order to make it work, but we do try our best to have the student get all of the courses that they want to take in the high school level, as well as getting their dual enrollment courses in as well. So we do put dual enrollment as an option of a course to be taken. So essentially it's a space holder in the student schedule where they will have an opportunity to have a space to work on their assignments, and and we can do that according to the time that is necessary. Are dual enrollment courses favored over AP courses? Dual enrollment and AP courses each have their own advantages and disadvantages. So depending on each specific scenario, you may want to talk to your counselor to discuss all of the advantages and disadvantages for your student or for yourself. Oftentimes, students do both. They'll take a dual enrollment course and an AP course, and that's totally acceptable as long as that's something that can be handled within all the other responsibilities that they have. All right, so Mr. Hoff is going to put a link in the chat, and that link is a document that gives you information that we just kind of reviewed, which is what schools we work with, how much the cost of those schools are, and then in that document there's links to each school's course catalog so that you can review it, take a look at it, and just explore what options are available. No decision needs to be made today, but it is a good idea to start exploring and getting an idea of what courses you may want to take, especially since this is this is course selection time. So this is a great time to have that conversation with the counselor as we plan for next school year. Once you have an idea of what that course looks like, as I just mentioned, you need to send that over to that course name and description to the counselor for the course approval before registering. So you'll send everything over to the school. So I'll just choose Monco as an example. You would send the transcript and the application to Monco. Monco will tell you whether or not you are able to take the dual enrollment course that you're thinking about. You then go to your counselor and get that approval from them. And then once that's done, then I would recommend registering for the class. You don't want to register before that because it may not be approved on our end. And then you also just want to follow the requirements set by the college. So again, we have our requirements where some schools, where we say it's open to 10th, 11th, and 12th graders, but some schools say 11th and 12th, or where we may not have a certain GPA requirement, but they may. So you do want to make sure you follow their requirements. But again, if you have any questions, reach out to your counselor. All right, I think we have time for questions. So I think I saw some things in the chat. Um, all right, Monco has a dual enrollment interest session. Yes, thank you for that, Gretchen. So Monco has dual enrollment interest sessions on March 5th at 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. So Gretchen did put a link in the chat in order to sign up. You can also find that on their website. I think the presentation is going to be available on the school district website under the counseling page. Probably, Mr. Hoff, I would say sometime before the end of the week.
Definitely before the end of the week, hopefully tomorrow.
Okay, hopefully tomorrow. Are there any other questions? Feel free to put it in the chat. Okay, so that's a good question. When are submissions for what dual enrollment course that they're taking is due? So it really would depend on what semester you want to take it. If you want to take it in the fall, it really just needs to be done before we leave for the school year because, it's not guaranteed that your counselor will be available over the summer to make those reviews. So I would recommend doing it, hopefully as soon as possible. I guess before the end of the course selection process will probably be the easiest because that will allow us to plan around the dual enrollment course. However, it's not a requirement to do it. It would just be by the end of the school year so that you can plan for the fall. If you're thinking about doing it in the spring, then you have really until the end of the summer, which will be the beginning of next school year. Now, there are some challenges by waiting for that because if, there are courses that need to be taken in the fall semester and we're not making those adjustments because we're not aware that you want to take those dual enrollment courses, that might present some type of a scheduling challenge. So essentially, those are the requirements, but the earlier, the better.
Mrs. Martin, I'll take the next two.
Okay.
So in terms of the reimbursement rate, we use Monco because it is the county's community college at their reimbursement rate, but we will reimburse that rate for one dual enrollment course. So if you take the Arcadia course, which is, I believe it was $600 and some odd dollars, we'll reimburse the $209. So it'll take some off of that cost. In terms of assistance in a situation of homelessness, that is a conversation we would have with our student services office, and we would move forward from there.
Okay, I see another question. How does it work if a student takes courses in the summer and receives credit? Will they graduate a semester early? Will they just have shortened days during the school year? Now, that would really depend on how many credits the student has at the high school and what grade level they're in. So shortened days during the school year right now are only available to seniors. So that could be a potential possibility, yes, where they could have that shortened school day. If they take enough courses to complete a full semester, they can do that. However, we would have to make sure that they're meeting their high school graduation requirements first. So this really would be an independent basis, but there are different options that are available. If I take some question. Okay, so that's a good question. If I take a summer class, will the transcript transfer over in time for early college applications, or would it show on my transcript at the very end of the year? If you are doing early college applications and you take the summer class, then it should be able to show on your transcript. If you are taking a class, maybe say in the fall, and you still want the school to know that you are doing dual enrollment, that would be something that you would put on your application, and then they may ask for your transcript from the school once you complete the course. So whether it's summer or fall, it can still help with the early college applications.
So there was a question previous to that one.
Oh.
We will reimburse one dual enrollment course a year. So we, with our AP exams, we cover one AP exam. We will cover one dual enrollment course a year at the $209 rate.
The next question was about a language. If a student takes a language at a college, would they be able to stop taking one at the high school? Yes, the language would fulfill the high school requirements as well as the college requirements. These are some really good questions. Keep them coming.
I do want a couple of things. I want to recognize Ms. Johnson, our math department chair, is on the call. I also want to recognize Mr. Shriver, who's a teacher on leave this year from our special ed department. I'd also like to recognize the several students that are on this call. We will be having a session, hopefully with several people in person in March, for you to be able to directly interact with representatives from each school.
And hopefully we'll also have some students who've participated in dual enrollment to share their experiences and give you some helpful tips as well. Are there any other questions? We'll give it another minute for questions. And again, if you have any questions, you can always check in with the counselor. That's a good question that I don't know the answer to. Do dual enrollment courses use Canvas? Some schools use Canvas, some use Blackboard, some may have their own preference. I'm not sure which each school uses, but that could be something that you can inquire about when you connect with the school directly. Yes, if you're interested in taking summer courses, March is when you should start coordinating and applying for those summer courses. You can actually start researching the courses now and having everything ready for when the application opens. All right, I think we are winding down on the questions. I did, Mr. Hoff, I'm sorry, I don't know if you saw it, but I added a slide.
Oh, I did not.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I added a slide of our counselor list so that if you're not sure who you should reach out to, you will want to find where your student's last name falls and what grade, and it'll give you who their counselor is. Do you know if there are only specific classes that I can take, like creative? Okay. No, so each school has their own requirements. So as I mentioned earlier, Penn State has certain requirements. So they do have limits on the specific classes that you can take. Montco allows you to take any class, as well as Arcadia is usually pretty open with the classes that you can take as well, as long as you meet the prerequisites for the courses. And so when you're choosing your course, you do want to be intentional about where will that course fit? Will it fit under an elective, or will it be, something within the major that I'm thinking of? And also being aware that there are times, and this is with AP courses or dual enrollment, where a college may say, we'll take the course as an elective, but not towards your major. So for example, if you want to take a chemistry course and have a chemistry major, the school might say, we'll take the chemistry course that you've taken as a dual enrollment and count it towards your electives, but we really want you to take our chemistry courses because we want to make sure that you're getting the material that we want to make sure is covered. So it's still a benefit to do it, but I'm just, putting that out there as a just in case. So go ahead.
I also do want to note that just with AP courses, every college and university can decide whether they're going to even take the credit from a specific institution, which is why, depending on where you are in your college planning, looking at, schools that for instance, Montgomery County Community College has those 20 or so schools where they have a set agreement for transferring credit. Some schools have that type of process, some schools don't. So depending on where you are in thinking about the type of school or specific list of schools you might be going to, that is something you may want to consider in this process.
Mm-hmm. And also being aware that with AP courses, if they do take your AP course, you do have to score a 3, 4, or 5 out of 5 on the AP exam. So you can take an AP course, but if you don't take the exam, or if you don't score high enough on the exam as to what that specific college is looking for, they won't take that AP credit. Yes, an English class at a college can replace the English class at the high school. It can, and that's for any subject. It doesn't necessarily have to be English or Spanish. That's really for any subject. So if you want to take a government class at the college level, that will replace the government requirement to graduate.
And this is why it's really important as you're thinking about this to work with your counselor to make sure everything lines up the way that it needs to line up, both for what you're hoping to do after high school, but also to make sure that you're fulfilling all the graduation requirements that we have.
Classes, yes. So that the question was, are classes typically first come, first serve? That is kind of how college works, right? So college will say, they'll have their open enrollment process, and then once the class fills up, they usually once they're full, they're full. At times you can ask for an exception, but just from my own personal experience as a former college student and a parent of a college student, that doesn't always happen. So it is important to, make sure that you are applying within the appropriate time frame and getting yourself on the list of a course that you're really interested in as soon as you can. All right. Well, thank you very much, everyone. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to your student's counselor. Mr. Hoff has it up on the screen as to who your student's counselor would be. And this, again, we'll be meeting with students for course selection anyway. So this is another good time to start bringing in those conversations and questions during the course selection meetings. Thank you.
Thank you
Have
all.
a good night.
I'll be ending the presentation now.